Michael the Mechanical here. Today I'm doing videos late, obviously, because I always do things at stupid times of time. Times of the day. And I'm home. I'm back home. This is my second day I've been home. I'm going into my third day now. But I have to go back to the hospital because I have to have rituximab for lymphoma. So hooray, I've only got 2 more doses left tomorrow and next week. And that's it. My whole life is upside down at the moment. I have so many pills and tablets I have to take every morning and every night. And we always make a list of like, what are these medications? And one of the medications is prednisolone. Prednisolone, and that's for GVHD. And we have, what's it called? Cyclosporin. Now, cyclosporin is a immunosuppressant medication, and it's used, I don't know if it says anything special on the box, but this is just one of the boxes. This is 25 milligram tablets, and these are used to suppress your immune system when they're trying to do transplant, and they can't, take me off this medication straight away, because then GVHD becomes a real thing that is a real risk, and there's a chance that the stem cell transplant will inevitably kill me. That was the 50 milligram packet. This is a packet of 100 milligrams. And I have to take one of each to get a dose of 175 milligrams. And then there's all the other ones. So it is a really, really big deal. And yes, it is nighttime here. So I'm sneaking in the lounge with the birdies. And now that I'm home, I'm like, well, what can I do? And I've been looking to doing some work on the ZL Fairlane that we've now got. Nice hot chocolate. So, since I've gotten home, I've had to go shopping for new pants because my pants didn't fit me. I've only got one pair of pants that fit me, and then the rest I can't, because I put on weight, and they wanted me to put on weight because they expected I'd lose weight during transplant. And I did lose a little bit, and I did get to the 70 kilo point, but then I've put the weight back on, so I won't be getting it off anytime soon because I'm not really working anymore. And the only way I'm going to get rid of the fat weight and turning it into muscle weight is by converting it one day, which won't be for a while. Beautiful budgies though, you can hear them chirping away in the cage. So tonight I'm making this video because I'm planning on doing some work on the ZL. I do not have the means to make videos very easily anymore unless I buy more cameras and more stuff, and I could do that, but I'm in a position right now where I'm not making money. I'm just I'm stuck on a pension because I'm not allowed to go really into many jobs, or in fact probably not even able to work at all. As much as I'm really tenacious and have that attitude and mindset, my body can't keep up with it anymore, and it's still in the recovery phases. I'm only like 70 to 80 days into my transplant, and it's the first 100 days that are riskiest. After that, things will get easier and smoother. All my immunizations have been wiped, therefore if I was to get the toxin for, what is it called? The tetanus toxin in my bloodstream, I literally have no immunity against it anymore because they did the transplant. And transplant comes from training the immune system to know what are the threats and how to fight them, essentially. So I don't have my vaccinations anymore. COVID-19 vaccinations, they told me to stop them because there was no point, for 2 reasons. 1, they wouldn't be there for very long, like the vaccinations that they'd add, and 2, they got to do them all again anyway. So I'm back at square one for COVID-19 vaccinations. If I had 2, now I'm going to have another 5, depending on the job and the workplace and stuff. But yeah, it's been a real, situation. Hasn't been fun, and makes this channel so much harder to do anything really with. for us to do anything with the channel, it's going to come down to just small things, and that's all I can really do. And anything that is safe enough for me to do. So I don't know if I can make videos, and it'll be probably too hard. It might be stressful, and I'm always getting lazy with my videos. I've always been lazy with my videos because I just haven't seen the value to do it. But the thing is, I should be opening my eyes, because this channel has been doing pretty well without me being too active, and that's a clear indication that there's value in this channel and what it does and what's been done on it. Oh gosh. And that's what we should be looking at. We should be looking at the value that's actually there. Restoration was the ZL doesn't need too much work done. I don't know how I'm going to straighten out the boot lid. I don't know how I'm going to straighten out the hood, where there's little dings and dents, without damaging paint. And if I damage the paint, then I got to get them painted again. I don't know how I'm going to do mechanical repairs on a car like that without the ability to handle grease and grub, because as much as I'd like to wear gloves and touch that stuff, the thing is I don't have enough protection, and the gloves do not last long. I've had that experience so many times with the orange nitrile gloves from Super Cheap. They just disintegrate. It's one of those things where I have to be able to pick up a set of gloves, use them for 5 minutes, and then chuck them in the bin and get another set. Every time I have to take them off, I've got to throw them in the bin. And whenever I'm handling grease and grub, I have to remember to replace them as quickly as possible when I'm in and out from underneath cars, and I have to be ready to do that. And then they're expensive, so long term it's not a really great solution. I don't have clean tools, so for me to work on the cars, I'm going to need cleaner tools than what I've got in the shed, because they're all dirty. And as much as it might keep them good for a long time to come, unfortunately, I've got to be careful of what I'm handling. Heck, I can't even touch the gearbox oil or anything. It's all going to come down to someone else doing the work now, because my health is messed up. I didn't ask for this. It's not fair. And even the thing was, during this whole ordeal, my transplant, the day I was taken in for transplant, the very first day of getting back into hospital, that was the day that my nana passed away on my dad's side. So I've got no grandparents now. They're all gone. It sucks. It's sad. And it had to be this year. This year has been a really messed up year for me, personally. But we need to try and keep marching forward. So to do that, I'm looking into other options. Like, I'm currently looking into doing some merchandising, because there's only so many things I can do. I've thought about drop shipping, but I'm looking at products on drop shipping. What is the price of these things? And I'm just like, people do not want to spend that kind of money on this crap. And the reason I say that is because I look at it and I think I wouldn't spend that much on it. I'd go into the local shops and buy things really cheap, because that's just how I normally am. That's if I want something. But I just don't see the value in most of the things I've been looking at on the drop shipping websites I've been looking at. Then you have, what else is there? You have your actual products. Now, I don't think my website's going to pull off any sales anytime soon. In fact, I don't even think it will sell anything. But if it does pull off something and it makes some sales, then that's awesome. What I think I should focus on with my website if I want to sell something is, well, I can have my merchandise collection and try to do some merchandising, because that's going to help pay for future videos or equipment or whatever if I go down that path. If this channel can reach 1,000 subscribers, it's possible to monetize it and use the revenue to put into other videos and stuff, and make it possible to even restore the other ZL, because we've got one good one and one crap one. And it is possible with this revenue that, say for example, you get passionate enough about a vehicle, I have the connections and the knowledge and stuff to try and get parts remanufactured. So I've got some ability to do some of that, but not all of it. And like this is where you guys essentially come in. Now, whatever support you want to help push this channel in a direction into, it's probably time to look into it now and start thinking about it and having this discussion. It'd be worth having actually a live stream discussion about this with whoever is still active and with other car communities, because unlike most of the top end stuff that we see on YouTube, like with Mighty Car Mods, I know MCM and then NTM, that was a coincidence. I was like Michael the Mechanical, and then how do I make that shorter? And then I was like MTM. Oh god, I just copied Mighty Car Mods by accident, and so I like Michael Mechanical. That's absolutely fine. We don't need to go MTM, and then the MCM, they mostly, buy and install parts. They modify cars and stuff like that. What they don't do is make new parts when you really need them, unless it's like an exhaust manifold or something, and TIG welding and some sort of specialized stuff in that sense. But they don't do all the specializing stuff, so it's not something that's practical for everyone to do. Whereas me, it's something that I am kind of a little bit passionate about, and I want to be able to, buy myself some taillights for the ZL and then have those lenses reproduced, because the headlight assembly, we could 3D print them, but we can't 3D print a taillight lens. Those would be much more specialized in how they're manufactured and fabricated. And I'm thinking that the lenses at this point, I'm going to be guessing they're going to cost around a $30 mark, not just for production, but to make a profit. I reckon to production value for those lenses, if you have to think about some of the costs and where these materials might come from, it could cost as little as $16 a lens, $17 a lens just to make them. That's without profit. Then to make profit, you have to add on. So for each of those lenses, for the big ones anyway, you'd probably have to sell them for about $30 each to make a profit. The little ones, they're about $12 probably. So you got to think about the material and some other factors. And then the other thing we're not even considering, which might even push the price up even higher, is the way that they're cast or the way that they're manufactured. That would impact the price. And say, for example, you need to make 4 different dyes, 5 different dyes, 6 different dyes. It'd be 6 dyes, and they do it out of steel, and then they have to polish them and stuff. Those dyes can cost as much as about 20 to 60 grand each. And if you only have a few hundred cars to a few thousand cars on the road, it's not viable to go down that route. So at the end of the day, how do you make a part viable to remanufacture? Ideally, you want spares on the shelf that you can just pick up and buy. In the sense of the ZL Fairlane, unfortunately, that's not going to cut it. There is literally no way to make that viable on scale to reproduce those lenses. And that's with metal, unless you can go to China and somehow get it really cheap. Hello birdies, you cheeky birds. They just get mad. Then we're talking about what's it called? Smooth On. That's the product. Very expensive, and you can't even get the right size pressure can probably to pressurize your mold, because those lenses are so big. So you have to be very clever, and you have to be very skilled with your products. You also have to invest a little bit of time into making all these things. And I think ideally what I want to do is I want to get 100 of each lens, which is like 100 of the top left, bottom right, top right, and then the reversing ones. And then I want to have like a seal kit for those, so can be just reinstalled essentially. Like unscrew them and then take the old seals out, put the new ones in, and just do that. And then with the internals of the assembly, what they can do, instead of just saying, oh, the paint's worn off, have maybe a special chrome paint, maybe better than the factory, maybe the same, and then you just have them use a can and go and just spray it in and make the whole tail like new. Because it's, people are not going to spend a lot of money to, you know, get that car and replace a whole tail light unless they've been in an accident. The lenses are the thing that are going to wear out the quickest. The headlights, I don't know about them because I don't know of any manufacturers that deal with glass anymore. They tend to be plastic lenses, so getting something vintage like that would be insane. But you'd probably also need to be using metal to make those ones. Whereas with the real ones, you might be able to get away with just a mold and liquids that set in certain environments. Or with, what are they called? It's like araldite. You have two different resins, mix them together, and then after 5 minutes they set. Same thing with the lenses. That's smooth on product. I mean, there's so many little things to consider doing. One of the things is maybe I can consider getting some parts and reconditioning them and selling them. I was thinking of that. Someone else is doing that with some ZL parts, but I think it's a bit pricey looking at what they got, but it could be worth it because from what I'm aware, I think they I think they fully do the job and repair any worn out parts or replace them. I think they might send them off to be anodized, which is what you want. And people talk about, you know, factory. Now, not everything has to be factory quality. Some things you want to actually aim for better quality than the factory and color. Some people might pick it, some people might not. Close to factory as possible. Yes, it's a good idea to always aim for that. But with the parts that I've seen, if they are literally painted, not okay. Paint with, you know, the impression of being anodizing is a ripoff. You have to anodize those parts for them to have the wear properties and anti-wear and anti-fatigue and anti-corrosion properties. And if you don't do that, unfortunately, they're going to wear out. They're not going to last. So, yeah, we have our 3D printer still on this table. It's been there for several months and hasn't been used in several months. Oh gosh. We have such a long way to go. Michael Mechanical is a channel that in a way you could say is going to be dead because look at my condition and what can I do? There isn't much I can do anymore. And it sucks. And I have to be much more careful, meaning I can't really be as careless on videos and making stuff. And it just makes it so much trickier. So the channel, if I want to work on this channel and do some videos, I need to change the direction. So I can't do all the mechanical stuff anymore. For now, it's going to look like smaller jobs. Like, for example, I pull something out of the car and I try to restore it to some extent. And I make sure it's something that I can actually do something with. And I do some sort of small tutorials on whatever I can do. And ideally, I need a new tripod or something for the camera. And you can definitely tell that I've had my cancer because before I had hair. I'm only 26 years old. And this happened. I got a rare form of leukemia. Set me back. Now, I'm going to try and move forward. And hope for the best, I guess. That's all I can do. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for your support. If you've got ideas, if you want to you know, discuss anything, feel free to make some comments in the comments below. Let's try to figure out what direction to take now, because this is not an easy one for me, and I'm not allowed to return to work just because of the immunosuppression and the risk of getting sick, and there's just too many risks in the world. Heck, I'm not even allowed to go to the shopping centre, really, but I've done it anyway because I need to go shops, and when I talk to the doctors, they say don't go shops, especially not during peak hour. They say, like, mornings and nights when no one's around. They also say when, pretty much no one's around. You only go when you have to go. That's pretty much it. Avoid the shops at all costs. Now, the only thing I've said to them is something that allowed me to do essentially because of the shops. I tell them I'm in and I'm out. I never stick around very long, even when there's lots of people, because of what I just died around the shops. And they said, well, that's okay then. They're looking at it from a perspective of you taking your time to do your shopping. I don't take my time to do my shopping. I get in and I get out. I don't want to be in the shops forever. I feel awkward enough as it is being in the shops, so getting in and out is more comfortable for me. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see what happens in the near future. Michael out.